Okay, I'm still Dr. Holly Kelly. This is still my special guest.
Roman,
He don't ever say this.
I do.
I'm not gonna tell you when he don't say it.
Ooh, Holly.
Okay, so listen up. Okay,
Hands irritating my back. It's like a little knot in my back. Hit it up against my back like that. I don't want to feel that. Go ahead.
okay, we're gonna get through this one.
Good, let's go.
Okay, let's go. So, hey Marshall. So, I'm just asking the question. What is it that would cause someone to bring violence or death on another person unprovoked? I'm not talking anything like, well, I was defending my life and I was defending my family. I'm not talking any of that. I'm talking unprovoked. And I just, I was saying earlier that every time something like this happens, it takes a piece. It changes a piece of who I am, because I'm filled with rage, I'm filled with anger, I'm filled with weariness. It's tiresome. It brings me sadness and grief if I think about the families involved, and it's just a lot. It's a lot. And so I'm just asking the question, what do you think it is that causes people to cause harm or murder unprovoked?
The same thing that's inside of you that made you the quality of person that you are, it's inside of them. They were taught to hate. They were taught to be stupid. And it has nothing to do with black, white, or blue. It's stupid is stupid. It angers me too. But I can't let it just interfere with my day, because I was born and raised in it. And the only thing I can do for myself is to continue trying to educate myself and become a better man, so I would know how to handle these situations. Now, you know, we've lived these situations around here without calling any names. We ask, why are they like this? Why are people like this? Well, you know what? People like this because this is how they were brought up. This is your world. You're not from here, or he's not from here. This is not his neighborhood. And like, no one has a right to go running, or no one has a right to speak up, or no one has a right to it's infringing on. If they want their rights, but you can't have your rights.
Okay, and I'm following that. I happen to agree, but you know what? Something else comes to mind, and let me know what you think about this, and you as well. I think people react with violence, unprovoked, out of fear.
No.
No. Let me tell you what. Let me explain what I'm saying. Fear of the unknown. If I don't know you, not you as a person, if I don't understand who you are, if I don't know you, if I don't really believe that you're a person with hopes and dreams and fears and aspirations and goals, and you love your family like I love, if I don't believe that, it will I think not understanding that causes fear. And a lot of, when you're afraid of something, you're either going to do one thing, you're going to fight, or you're going to flee. And so I think, I really do, I think that when we don't know each other, when we don't understand each other, then a natural reaction, unless you make a deliberate attempt to get to know somebody, unless you make a deliberate attempt to understand someone else, you're going to stay, that's them, and we're better. And then you start building these hierarchies.
I hear what you're saying, but I totally disagree with you. It's not fear.
Yeah, Elliot says
It's not fear.
Elliot says he's agreed with you.
It's internal hate. My parents taught me I'm from the South, yet to be respectful. Other people's parents taught them you're better than everyone. This is your country. This is your neighborhood. You don't attack anyone with a gun because you're afraid of them. you attack people with a gun because you're trying to exert your dominance on them, and that's not just black and white. It's people. Period. People are not in gangs because they're afraid. They're in gangs because their poor upbringing, their entire mentality is to be a bully, to take what they want. Like me, not trying to change the subject. I don't understand graffiti, and I ask the guys, "Why do you do that?" Well, we're marking our property. How you gonna mark something that doesn't belong to you? Why are you gonna pick on someone just because they're running through your neighborhood? You're not, they're not. That's not fear. Look at his ass running through our neighborhood. Who's he thinking? Let's confront him. Well, initially it started out with confronting him, and probably he pissed them off, and then by doing that, then it resorted to violence because you stopped me. You stopped me. If I can't resolve it in a peaceful manner, then I'm going to do what I'm trained to do. I'm going to have to eliminate the threat. That's just nature's course. People are not.
You have to have violence in your heart to react.
Absolutely.
Violence.
Absolutely. I've had many situations in my life where I could have been violent, but I chose not to. I chose the side of being rational. But not every situation is going to let you be rational. Sometimes you're going to have to defend yourself.
Yeah, and right. But I want to make a distinct clarity because I'm not talking about defending yourself. That's not even a discussion.
But that we don't know.
I'm talking about the unprovoked. And so I don't disagree with you, but I think in addition to, not instead of, in addition to, I think, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty convinced that the more we allow ourselves to operate from a place of stereotypes and prejudices without really knowing, I just heard something, or what I see is the only thing I know because I don't really associate with them. So you don't know anything firsthand. I think when you tell yourself these stories, you build up something and you become automatically on the defensive. And so if I wink wrong, you're ready to attack.
I hear what you're saying, Holly, but see, you're speaking about the psychological mentality. We're talking about actually life in the street.
I'm talking in the street.
You're walking down the street, someone walks up to you and slaps you in your mouth. What are you going to say? Well, you know what, they had poor upbringing.
Okay, no, but see, this is what I'm saying. I don't want us to cross the lines because that's not unprovoked. You slap me, I have the right. So I'm not talking about those instances where you are provoked. That's a clear line. I'm talking about the lane. Okay, using that scenario that you just said, I'm walking down the street, I'm just minding my own business, and you come and hit me in a way that I fall and hit my head, and now I'm in a coma. What would cause you to do that? I didn't provoke you.
Where have you been all your life, Holly? I'm not trying to be funny, Holly. This is not shocking or nothing new to me.
It's not shocking to me either. Okay, so let me say this.
I
grew up
in the South.
In the South.
During segregation. Lived in it every day. And I was never once taught to hate. And I don't hate. I dislike ignorance. And I educated myself so I would be able to articulate my feelings and handle any situations. But if I can't handle them as a diplomat, I will handle them as a retired Marine. And I have no problem with defending myself and my family. I've had to do it a number of times. I don't really like to resort to ignorance, but people say, "Well, you're a Christian, turn the other cheek." No, I'm not turning nothing.
And the only
I am just real, because I'm upset too, because I get so sick and tired of seeing people every day, and I read about it. People getting picked. The guy at Bowie getting ready to graduate at a bus stop. Guy came up and asked him a question. He didn't know the answer to the question. He got stabbed. The guy running through a gated neighborhood. Someone told him to stop. He didn't want to stop, so you decided to kill him. And even the gangs in LA and different places. Now, certain places I can avoid. I can avoid certain places. But this is my last line of defense. I will not tolerate any type of ignorance around me.
Okay, and I don't disagree with anything. Where I'm going with this is because you keep sliding over into the defense protecting yourself. I'm not talking.
But that's my mentality to be on the guard for ignorance, because it
Right.
happens.
Okay, but let me just restate my question, because maybe you didn't. You asked me where I've been living all my
You
life.
get your hand on my shoulder.
Yeah, I know. It's unprovoked.
I'm not angry at it. I'm just saying this.
Where have I been living all my life? I've been living in the same world. I'm living in this world. My question is, thank you, Diana. My question is, I'm only asking what it is. Why do you think what would cause someone to hurt or kill another person when they are unprovoked? I'm not talking about defense. I'm not going that route, because
That's
that's
easy. That's an easy answer, Holly.
Let me tell you this part. It's built-in internal racism, dislike, hate for another race. It's not fear of that race.
It's not.
It's inbred to them. It's hatred.
People are just mean. I mean, here's one of the best. Let's use true examples. The homeless lady that was on our easement there, and one of our neighbors put it on Facebook or on our webpage. Look at this that was in our easement. This a person, a homeless person, someone struggling, and she called this person a this, thinking it was no big deal and everyone was gonna agree with her. I saw a person that I could have possibly helped. She saw someone that was infringing on her privacy. That's wrong. I mean, that's just, people are brought up like that. They're brought up to hate. I see a guy and they help him. That's the way I was raised. We live in a world full of hatred. You have to learn how to live here.
Okay, so then if it's all about, because Diana says, and I agree with this, yes, it's hatred, yes, it's ignorance, yes, it's fear, but it has a spiritual root as well, because everything happens on both levels. But if it's a matter of how you're brought up, if you're 50 plus years old, 40 plus years old, ain't nobody raising you anymore. So does that mean we're just out of luck and, oh well, nothing's gonna change? Or how do we change that? How do we change that? I don't
How do
think
we
there's-
change it? You can't change anyone. You can only change yourself. You can't change people. How can you stop someone from being ignorant? If someone's been taught their entire life, you're better than this person. You know, we don't need them. Why are they here? Why is he here? People, they're just designed. You can make it biblical. You can make it any way you want to make it. People are just hateful. It doesn't matter. They don't need a rhyme or reason. They just hate. I've seen it. Even there's hate within us. You know. I mean, I hang around people that sometimes they like to spend more time laughing at each other instead of uplifting each other. I guess when I was younger, I understood that because it was funny. But now I'm older. I get no humor out of demeaning another man's character. You know. So it's not just black, white, Mexican. No, certain people like to paint a picture and make it seem like ignorance only comes from one race, but it's not. It's universal. Ignorance is everywhere. When I was in Japan, I saw ignorance. I mean, I'm here in Menifee, in $1 million houses. I see ignorance once a week. I can't change anyone. I don't want to change anyone. I'm too old to think about changing anyone. I can only make myself the best man I possibly can and be prepared for their ignorance. If I can handle it as an intellect, I'd handle it as a warrior. That's it. Am I the wrong person to be here?
No, you the man, you the right person, because it's about perspectives. At a certain age, you're not going to change, especially if you feel that how you are is right. And there's a lot of them. Okay, so I really don't think I live in Disneyland.
Yes, you partially do. Here's the best example. We've been living here 20 years. I was born and raised in segregation. I've had 2 racial incidents that resorted to violence in my life, and they all happened within the last 5 years, where I had 3 where I had to lay hands on people. Is that sad? In the last 5 years. 5 years. In the rest of my life, I've never had to do it, but within the last 5 years, I had to.
Okay. So,
And went to court about it. It's a whole nother story, but I'll tell you one day. It's a true story, isn't it?
yes, Ira. Yep, it sure is. It sure is. Brother Kelly, what can be ignorant to you may not be ignorant to them.
My point.
And universal ignorance and hatred.
It is. It's bad.
But I know I do believe that you can't change people.
No.
I understand that, and I believe that. But I do believe you can impact a person to want. That's how all of us. No, that's how you have seen. People,
yeah.
Okay, but wait a minute. You've seen people in your life that they were doing something different, and it did something. It motivated you. It made you want to do better. It made you want to do different. It made you want to be. So, and
That's
that
true.
was because somebody impacted you with the way they were living. I believe just as easy as we can do that, it can happen. Now it's not as easy because you're dealing with ingrained isms. They're ingrained from here. You were in the womb, or you were a lap baby, and you heard these things, you felt it. So I get that part, but the same way we can look at somebody and be encouraged to do better is the same way we can. Let me tell you why I know. Okay, I know this is going long, and I got to go. Okay, we can't impact people unless they allow you to come into their life. Okay, so Marsha, that's the part I'm talking about. It's because they don't have anyone in their life that they know firsthand. So they don't know them. And what we do not know, we're afraid of. What we don't know, we're afraid of. But this is people, period. And fear comes out in anger and rage sometimes. But let me tell you why I believe with every ounce of my being that situations, violence, and hatred, because I look at South Africa. I look at the work, and he didn't do this by himself, but I look at one of my personal all-time heroes,
Nelson
Mandela, who after 27 years of having his freedom and his liberty and his movement taken from him, he not only came out not bitter, he came out with enough love. I'm going to just leave it right there with a whole lot of other tentacles to the love. He came out and was able to be the impetus behind an entire system changing and falling. Now, it's not perfect over there, but there's no more apartheid, and you saw reconciliations happening. That's how I know that it's not, the period doesn't end at, well, that's how he was raised, period. No, we can put a comma there. That has to be a comma, because putting a period there just makes it, we're victims and we're fatalists. There's nothing else we can do. I guess that's just how.
That's
no.
not what I'm saying.
Okay, but
I'm
do
not
you
saying
hear
that.
my point?
I hear your point.
Okay, and I hear
your point.
yours.
But see, this is not isolated. It didn't just. This has been going on for forever.
Correct.
Forever. I mean.
Forever. but what I am saying is, sometimes we think because things are not easy to change that they're unchangeable, and they're not. I can't. You know what? Your face is not in there. I can't.
I'm okay.
Yeah, but I want to see your face.
Girl, I'm right here. Come on. Leave the face alone. I'm good.
Okay, I'll leave your face alone. But that's, we get that thing mixed up. We think because things are hard that we label them impossible. No, they're just hard.
It all depends on how we're designed. I mean, you're not designed to quit. I'm not designed to quit.
Right.
But I'm not designed to. I will only endure a certain aspect of someone else's ignorance, because I lived my whole life and I've avoided it. I've seen many cases and situations that I could have been involved in, but I chose not to. So I'm saying that we have to continue being the positive example we can, but at the same time, I will not be a punching bag. I will not be a vent or the butt end of anyone's joke. I mean, even when we go up to Cross Creek Golf Course, this gentleman up there would always make little sly comments, and they were very racial. And then I told him, I asked him, I said, what's my middle name? He said, I don't know your middle name. I said, that's my point.
Yeah.
You need to know me before you can play with me.
So that feeds into my belief that it is a matter of we don't know each other. We don't know. And so when you don't
My sweet
know,
wife, people,
Okay.
you know, you, you know,
my sweet little
you
clueless
belong
wife,
behind this
wait,
camera.
Is that what you're trying to say?
The people,
My
these
sweet
people,
little clueless wife.
these ignorant ass people, that feels good to them. They feel ignorance. It feels good. I guarantee you, when they killed that young man, they didn't have any remorse in their heart. Like,
No.
oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. They didn't care.
Right,
They
I
said,
believe.
see what he made us do.
I believe
See,
that.
he made us.
And they got emboldened, I'm sure, along the way because it's been 2+ months, and finally today they've been arrested and charged. But okay, so here, because we could do this forever.
No, we
Here's
don't
my
want to.
point. No, we're not.
I am not a violent person. Things to try to keep the ignorance down. But you see me, some of the things that I had to do.
Correct. Yes. And thank you for joining me. Thank you for your input.
They're not liking me about
Who is that?
people there because I'm.
No, I was reading to you the comments. They
I don't
understand.
care. That means
Well,
that's.
you're the one who said they're not liking me.
I'm
I'm just
just-
letting you know a lot of the comments they understand where you're coming from.
I am not an angry person. I am not confrontational, but I am a prepared person. I can be an intellect, or I can be that person that they don't want to deal with. This is the society that I live in, and I've been living here a long time.
And your comments are valid and appreciated. That was from Dinah. And here's my point, and we're gonna
Is
sign
this a
off.
Donnie?
No. But Donnie is on
Oh,
there.
Donnie knows. Donnie's from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Believe me, he remembered the same water fountains that I was going to try to drink out of, and the guy told me, "Don't drink out of that. That's not yours." I remember those days, and I said, "Why? It's just water."
The conversations need to be had. This is where the point behind this perspective. We need to have conversations. We need to have conversations and discuss things like this, talk about them, have a platform. And I'm not saying this was well,
The platform should be involved. It should be multicultural.
multicultural,
Not because us talking among ourselves is
I think that I feel like their reaction is a reflection of themselves, right? Until we're ready to look in the mirror, and I can't see the rest of that every day. But I agree. I believe when I said you don't know your people, you don't know others. The question comes to bear: do you have close friends outside of your same ethnicity, outside of your same socioeconomic status, outside of your same academic pedigree, outside of your same zip code? Because if you don't have a full picture of reality.
true. Very true.
You don't. And so unless you are deliberately going to widen your circle, we will stay narrow. And when we're narrow, our viewpoints are narrow. Our responses are narrow.
True.
Our reactions are narrow. And we got to do better.
True.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. We went a long time tonight, but it was just something that
And I apologize for my language.
I'm going to keep you. Thanks for jumping in there tonight. Go have the conversation, but more than the conversations, look at your circle. If you need to widen it, that's on you to do.
Listen, we have to listen to just having a conversation. Sometimes we have a tendency to talk a lot, but we learn more with these than we do with this. So,
No disagreement on that. Thank you for all your comments and jumping in there. Okay, take real good care of yourselves.